going on, everyone? A few days ago, I did my top 10 best movies of 2018, and now today I am doing my top 10 worst movies of 2018. Yippee! Oh boy, this ought to be fun, but 2018 is a year for movies that I classify as being top-heavy. There were some pretty good movies, and then a couple of great films, but not an abundance of them. I feel like other years had a lot more to offer in terms of both good and great, but this year it seemed like there were a couple of great and then a variety of good. But like most years, there were some pretty terrible movies that came out in 2018. But I will reiterate again, this is my list. These are the top 10 worst movies in 2018 for myself. If you guys have your own top 10 worst movies from 2018, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section what that list is. Alright, I will begin now. So without further ado, let's get started with number 10. This movie was very disappointing for me, and I know a lot of people out there in the world loved it. It's one of their favorite movies from 2018, but for me, I was not a fan whatsoever and highly disappointed. That film is Incredibles 2. Before you click that dislike button, hear me out, I will explain again. For whatever reason, they had to make Jack, a character that does not even speak proper English, one of the prominently featured characters in Incredibles 2, which makes no sense, and I think the reasoning for this decision was to add more humor in the film, but after 30 minutes, it gets tiring and you don't care anymore, you're not laughing. Mr. Incredible barely does anything in this film. The movie was very predictable. The villain was one of the worst villains from 2018, and I have a lot of other reasons for why I did not like Incredibles 2, but again, this is my opinion, and I have my reasons for not liking it. I understand if some of you guys love this film, that's fine, but for me, it disappointed me, and it's right here at number 10. Number 9. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is always in some of the stupidest movies every year, and Rampage is no different. What a ridiculous concept. This movie is hilarious unintentionally. The CGI looks horrendous in some shots. Boring subplots about the government and military made this movie even harder for myself to digest. Rampage is an over-the-top, stupid movie. Number 8. The 1517 to Paris was a movie I was anticipating coming into the start of 2018, but one that really let me down. The first hour of this film does nothing to build to the climax. There's a lot of scenes where the characters are traveling across Europe and they talk to each other about things that don't matter. The movie had no idea how to build to its climax, so there's a lot of filler. This film is one of those cases where they try to replicate the exact same story for how it all happened in the first hour leading up to this almost crisis on a train. But when you try to translate the actual event shot to shot on the big screen, it's no longer a theatrical film. Because we do need those theatrical elements to keep ourselves entertained, but the 1517 to Paris missed that entirely. Number 7. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was a complete train wreck. Once they get off the island and head to this mansion, the movie becomes nonsense, and everything that happens is everything that's happened in a previous Jurassic Park/World movie, and nothing is original. It feels like they copy and pasted everything from Jurassic World and put it inside of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom just to make money. And that's all this movie was, a cash grab. Number 6. Gosh, this movie had potential to be so good, but another film that disappointed me in 2018, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, was one of the most boring movies from this past year. A lot of dialogue, a lot of characters standing around doing nothing. The movie was painfully boring. The plot was extremely convoluted and did not make very much sense. It's hard to keep up with everything. And did the climax even exist in The Crimes of Grindelwald? I don't think so. Number 5. The Cloverfield Paradox at number 5. Why was this a movie, and why did they try to connect it to Cloverfield? Those questions are still in my head, and now, after 2 very good films, I'm no longer looking forward to any more installments within the Cloverfield franchise because of the Cloverfield Paradox. This movie should have not been made. Number 4. Ooh, now we're getting into some of the films that I did not like at all. A Wrinkle in Time had a cool premise, but they did nothing with it. Whenever these characters are exploring new universes, they stand around and do nothing. You just hope that they'll explore a tiny bit of the world, but they don't. They stand around and look over it, and that's it. And the dialogue is pretty bad too. The acting is not great either. A Wrinkle in Time is one of those movies where you wish they did what you wanted them to do, but they don't. Number 3. How could they possibly miss on this film after a very good first movie? Pacific Rim Uprising was laughable. This movie was so bad. They took all the fun out of the first film and focused on some of the most boring subplots you could ever come up with. To be honest, I did not care about anything happening in Pacific Rim Uprising. Not the characters, not the main plot, nothing. Pacific Rim Uprising felt like the last 2 Michael Bay Transformers movies. Yeah, that's not good. Number 2. Why did this have to be a movie? Why? The Predator. Talk about a waste of time. The Predator was the biggest waste of my time ever, and I will never get back those 2 hours that I spent watching this movie in the theaters. One of my biggest problems with The Predator is how the movie doesn't always make sense. You just become very confused when watching The Predator because nothing adds up to make a cohesive story, and this is another case of a film that should not have been made. There is nothing special about The Predator. You leave the theater and you scratch your head. Why was this movie made? It doesn't make sense. Oh, that's right, money. Number 1. But the number 1 slot on my list is reserved for a film that was just brutal watching in the theater. And you know what that is. 50 Shades Freed. Wow. How did I last so long watching this movie in the theater? Let me say this again. There is no plot to 50 Shades Freed. The entire movie is dedicated to 2 characters who love each other apparently. They do sexual things with each other in the bedroom or in the kitchen or in the bathroom, wherever. And they travel around doing absolutely nothing but that. The movie is very dumb, and I don't ever want to watch it again. I lost brain cells watching 50 Shades Freed. Oh, and of course, the acting is terrible, as expected. Some of the worst acting I've ever seen. Thank God this series is over, and there will hopefully never be another 50 Shades movie made again. That was hard to get through, but yes, those are my top 10 worst films from 2018. Not the greatest year for movies, but solid in some aspects. Some really bad movies, though, I have to say. Again, I have to thank you guys for such a great year, 2018. I cannot wait for 2019. It'll be, hopefully, a great year for films. My next video is going to be my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2019, so get ready for that video at the end of this week. Thanks again, and if you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.